So I'm going to start at the beginning with your first card in first place, and this is the same as what I call the transformation card. Traditional tarot, it's called the death card. I've never really enjoyed that because it's not, I wouldn't say never, but almost never about physical death. This is usually about transformation, about the butterfly opening up its wings, coming from the cocoon. And it may be that some of you all feel like you've had to transform out of a relationship that hasn't worked out, and you've become a new you, or you're feeling new spiritual alignment within yourself, or you've been at a job that's possibly not worked out. But there is room for growth. There's room for transformation. Actually, this is one of the most positive cards. It comes after a time when it's called the death card. Okay, well, we'll go with that. Well, after death, what? Well, there's rebirth, right? So here, in fact, this deck calls it the Lord of Shadows. So here's a sort of shadowy person, if you will, no pun intended, standing under this tree. And the tree is fine. It has plenty of leaves. It's blossoming. It has a little bit of fruit here and there, and the butterfly. And then there's a water well, so there's always abundance. And then this man and boy are walking into the meadow. So they've come out of a place of stagnation and they're going into the new. And that's what I was talking about a minute ago at the beginning of the reading is this is a year to do that numerologically. It really, really is. I don't know what your personal year is. Add 1 to your month and day of birth and add all 3 of those together. That will give you your personal year. And if you'd like a reading about your numerology and cards, then I'd be more than happy to do that. But again, the overall flavor of the world is people are wanting to break out of bounds and do things differently. And if you've been forced to do that or in some form or fashion, then, so be it and go with it. Because you all, of course, you're so intuitive. And here's the High Priestess card. She's coming up. So another major arcana card that she doesn't talk about her truth and her truths. She dwells on her inner awareness. And I mean dwells in a positive sense. She's psychic. She's intuitive. She knows that she has the strength and the wherewithal within her to create her own magic as she's doing. You see, and then there's, of course, the moon in the card that represents psychic intuition, our inner awareness, where the sun is our manifestation, if it's in a card. So she's making new magic because she just knows that's the best thing for her to do. She's always going with the tides. She knows the cycles, like I said, of the moon. So she knows that there's a full moon, then it goes back down to the sliver, the new moon. And she gets that life is not always peachy and roses, that sometimes we need to recreate. There can also be hidden truths that come out when she's around, because she does represent the mystical side of life. So it could be that too, if some hidden truths come out in your relationship, in your job. And speaking of, the card in the middle is the Two of Swords. So these two are negotiating, maybe a new contract. They're trying to work things out. And between the two, and on the other side are these 2 major arcanas, actually all surrounded except for this card. So you may be negotiating new contracts. You may be in negotiations of business. Maybe at the place of employment where you are, you may need to take a lesser salary for what you're doing, or maybe a different position. But some of you are needing to negotiate. But again, use your inner strength and confidence while doing so. Below you have the what's the same as the Emperor card. In this deck, it's called the Horned God, but this would be the Emperor below the Two of Swords. So a lot of times this card indicates to me someone who is, well, a father figure. He's an archetypal father figure. As you can see in this deck, he's a well sculpted man. He's bearing his sculpted chest, and he has his animals, and he's been in the forest, and he's been hunting, and or whatever he's been doing. But he's a man of nature, and he knows he can survive because he knows the skills of life and the skills of nature itself. He has the fox and the bear and the deer, the birds, raccoon. So this archetypal father, and this could be in the human world, or this could be, oftentimes this is a spirit that's passed over, that, you know, maybe a father figure, someone who's on the spirit side, an archangel who could be helping you with this transformation. Boy, that's hard for me to say. I was felt like I was in slow-mo when I said that, Scorpio. That was interesting. Maybe this transformation's coming over a period of time, and you've known about it or not. But anyway, it supports this negotiating. So feel the strength and the power of the archetypal father, man, very authoritative man, confident. Be confident in your negotiations, in your skills. When you're talking to other people, you don't have to boast or brag, but just be confident. And I can handle this. I can do this. These are the things I can do. Even if you walk out of the office, if you're talking to someone, wow, you know, and your knees want to collapse and your face is red, or you feel like you're sweating. And my dog just decided to bark on that one, giving you extra strength. So I'm just saying that with all these major arcana cards that are surrounding this guy, this situation here, the universe really, really, really is taking note of you this particular 2 weeks. On the left-hand side of the Emperor is the High Priest, or the Hierophant. And the Hierophant card is about social or spiritual teachings. It could be a structure of spiritual teachings, but it might be too that you're studying mythology, or you're studying the mystics of the past, or you're channeling. I mean, I don't know. This could go in a variety of ways. You guys might be studying people who are deep into, trance meditation. But this comes out strong, and it's interesting that both the High Priest and the High Priestess are in your spread. She's more inwardly and more intuitive, inward, self-aware. Again, I was saying the moon is inward, the sun is outward. So he's manifesting. So it might be learning with other people, reading and listening to people online, on YouTube, spirituality. It's what's outside of you. A mentor, someone you really appreciate and respect, that maybe you don't know, who's famous or not. But I'm just saying this is normally the pursuit of scholarly or spiritual teachings. It could be for higher learning. Higher learning can also mean higher learning within the work that you do. But it's under this transformation. It's under this transformation card. So that would make sense. I mean, this makes perfect sense. He's in the scholarly spiritual pursuit, and he's transforming. And you're transforming. Okay? Yeah. And then underneath the 6th card is the 7 of Swords, which they call a themes in this deck. Actually, you have 2 sword cards. 1, 2. You have 4 major arcana cards and 2 sword cards. Such an unusual reading, Scorpio. Okay, so the 2 sword cards, one is about negotiating, and swords are about ideas, our thoughts, and our fears. But When you're negotiating, you don't want to negotiate your fears, really, if you're in a contractual arena. The Seven of Swords is about being shrewd. As you can see, this guy has come out of the forest. He's been hunting. He has his hunt, all of his, whatever you call it there. I don't hunt, so I'm not sure. But his 7 swords are on the back of his satchel here. And then he's walking home to his spouse. But he's turning around and he's looking back in that forest like, I got out of there. And, you know, it's like a minute ago when I was talking about walking out of an office after you've negotiated a deal. You know, it's that same feeling. He's looking back thinking, that took some planning. That took some tactical or shrewd planning, but I did it. So this being the last card of this particular spread, I feel like this is something that you all are going to gain throughout this next couple of weeks or so. Could be into March again. You know, again, the swords are about our thoughts, our fear, our inner thinking. You have a lot of inner this month because of the major arcana and the 2 thought cards. It's not so much about doing at the end of this month. I mean, you may have to, but it's not focusing on that as much as it is conceptualizing, feeling the support, the spiritual and psychic stuff, and the transformation. Okay, interesting. Let's pull some clarification cards out of the Hanson Roberts deck. That's what the top wants to come out. The 3 of Swords. Well, another sword card. Okay, a sword card. Well, the 3 of Swords is moving past a negative experience. And the experience could be a love relationship. It is a heart. And it could be about a job or a personal relationship. But with this 3 of Swords comes new beginnings. So it's not all bad. It's new starts, and it could be about this transformation here, helping you to transform. 3 of Pentacles. Your first Pentacle card. Good. Okay, so 3 of Pentacles is about learning new skills. It's apprenticeship, going back to school, learning, you know, she's talking about this High Priest. So that could be part of it, is, again, learning new talents and abilities that you need to keep going with your work or your job, or to get a new job. The Star card. Wow, you guys. Another major arcana. Wow, okay. So the Star is the star. She's seeing the stars in the sky. She's handling the water. So she's between worlds. She's paying attention to the spiritual world, and she's feeling the human world. So she knows how to incorporate both. She feels like she has come a long way. Her wisdom is rising. Her star power is rising. The planets are aligning for her, and for you guys too. This is not just for, you know, all these cards are gender or are not gender specific. So the feeling of alignment within yourself. And I feel like this is to come. Again, we have another bird. Lots of birds in these cards. All right. So I'm going to leave it at that, Scorpio, because this is definitely a unique reading. So just, you know, pay attention to the special messages. You may want to watch this video at the end of the month as well. And the major arcana cards, again, are standing out to you. Transformation, psychic inner awareness, spiritual pursuits, or higher learning. And this could be a spirit, someone in the spirit archangel. If you look for signs and synchronicities of spirits around you, you know, sometimes they do. They like to, you know, you look at the clock, of course, it's 11:11 or 333 or 444. Sometimes you'll see coins and feathers, or, you know, whatever it is that gets your attention on a consistent basis. That's a synchronicity. All right, I'm going to add these up. And we have 13 and 2 is 15, 17, And 5 is what, 22. And 4 is 26. And 7 is 33. Is that right? I'll do that again. I have 33. Well, that would be a master number, but let me go backwards here. 7 and 4 is 11. And 5 is 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. And 13 is 33. Okay, so 3 and 3 is a master number. I don't deduce that. I will to match the major arcana, but not in numerology. 33 is heart of God number. Wow, here we go with, this is a little bit deeper reading than, and you guys are one of my last but not least ones. So, being positive though, being happy, being loving. 3 is cheery. 3 is cheerfulness. Don't be hard on yourself. Be happy, be open, be playful. Open feels like the word, and positive. Okay, because I do feel like that there's so much that the universe is wanting to say to you. So don't feel left out or alone, or it's easy to say, I know, but reach out if you feel lonely or not. But and this, we want to deduce to 6 in with the major arcana because there is not a 33. It goes to 21. But 6 in the major arcana is the Lover's card. So feeling a deep commitment of love, whether it's in your physical world that you have someone to love, or it's spirituality, or your God or your angels or whatever it is. It's just the feeling of a deep commitment of that love essence.